They say there are no wolves on Fenris, but there's a lot of wolves in Codex Supplement Space Wolves, one of the latest supplements for the new edition of Warhammer 40,000. So today we have got supplements for the Space Wolves and the Death Watch, both up for pre-order, hot on the heels of the 9th edition Codex Space Marines. So yeah, if you've seen the previous supplements over the last edition, you'll have an idea of what to expect here. Essentially it expands on all the options available to Space Wolf armies, including some specific data sheets for the units that are unique to that army, as well as a lot of the cool stuff we have seen in the other recent codexes, such as Crusade content and all that kind of fun stuff. So yeah, I've been toying with doing a Space Wolf army for a while, so yeah, excited to have a dig into this. As a kind of companion piece to this video, we also have a full deep dive that Jay has written up about this book, covering all the units, all the stratagems, all the profiles. So if you want the super in-depth look at that, head over to spruesandbrews.com, where yeah, Jay's going to go through all the details. But yeah, I thought I'd have a quick flick through this book now and kind of have a look at it, because it does look very tasty. And first of all, absolutely gorgeous cover art as well, which is something we've seen for all these 40k books. So yeah, really impressed with how this looks, and it has got me raring to go on a Space Wolf army. And yeah, format-wise, this pretty much follows the format that we've seen in the other books so far. So I've got a feeling that Codex Supplements is going to be a big thing this edition. Maybe seeing this kind of thing for Chaos Space Marines and Eldar Craft Worlds, maybe even different Astra Militarum regiments. Because it's a nice way of expanding on the lore and all the different rules, and yeah, gives you a bit of flavour for those unique regiments and armies. As we normally get in codexes, we get a nice big chunky lore section at the front, telling you all about the Space Wolves, with some absolutely gorgeous artwork as well. These books always do inspire me to start a new army, and yeah, I've been really torn on what Space Marine chapter to go to. I was thinking White Scars for a long time, and then I was dabbling with Dark Angels, but the Space Wolves do appeal for the I suppose Viking influences. Yeah, so looks really cool. Very pretty book, as I'm sure you've seen by now with all the 9th edition coverage that we've done, and as we've had in other books as well. We've got some war zones that it talks about as well as ideas for settings for your game. Yeah, look at this. Now, this is my first Space Wolf book, so I don't know if any of this is old artwork, but it is really evocative. Yeah, really like that. Nice info about all the various characters that we get in the book as well. Details of the various great companies as well. So yeah, some really cool stuff. I'm very impressed and can't wait to have a proper full-on read of all this, because I'm desperate to start painting some Space Wolves just because they look really pretty. Something else that we've seen in some of the other books so far is quite a nice section detailing markings and colour schemes and how to put together your Space Wolf army from an aesthetic point of view. And yet this book continues the same theme, with quite detailed sections about markings and the different great companies, which is really nice to see. Those new models like Indomitus look so nice in that grey blue of the Space Wolves. I've got some of the Forge World Stormcast heads who've got lots of beard and hair going on, which will definitely suit the Space Wolf theme. Also some nice guides on how to mark your tanks. It's a bit of a shame we don't get Lehman Russers like we did back in the day, but we do get a new unit in here, the Hounds of Morkai, that we'll have a look at in a little bit later. But yeah, I really like that we get all this detail on how to mark your forces and make them look spick and span, ready for the tabletop. And yeah, some really nice artwork of these two traditional opponents against each other. So onto the actual rules content. Again, follows the same format as the other books that we've seen so far. So colour-coded, breaking down into the different sections of the book, making it really easy to find your rules material, which again is much appreciated. We also get details of successor chapters and how the rules apply. Essentially the same kind of rules as in the Space Marine book. You can have a successor, you can get a lot of the abilities, and yeah, just details how to do that. Combat Patrols is a new box that's coming out alongside this, and it looks like we're going to get a new one for each force as the book comes out. And these are essentially 25 power, I believe they are, forces in a box as a starting point for an army. So it's interesting that it details this in the book. They're a little bit more expensive than the start collecting boxes were. But arguably they've got a bit more content to them. You do, I think I worked out, you save about 25% on this box, so that's pretty good, especially if you can get it from a third-party site as well to save a bit more. I think that's pretty cool. Really nice artwork here again. Before we go into the detachment abilities. So yeah, when the Assault Doctrine is active for your army, each time a model makes a melee attack, an unmodified hit of 6 scores an additional hit. That's pretty good. Obviously Space Wolves are going to be quite an aggressive, close combat force, so good to see stuff like that. Again, we have a whole host of stratagems here. So like I say, Jay's gone into quite some detail on all of these over on the website, so I won't spend too much time at these. But yeah, nice assortment of stuff. And again, you're going to get these in addition to the ones in the Space Marine book as well. So you've got lots and lots of options, which is really nice to see. We do get some Space Wolf specific Warlord traits though. So Beast Slayer, while he's in engagement range of a monster or vehicle, you add 1 to their attacks characteristic. And each time the Warlord makes an attack against a monster or vehicle, add 1 to their hit and wound roll. So that's really nice and works really well for some of the sagas that we'll see in a little bit. Wolfkin, for the purposes of shock attack, the Warlord is treating as having always made a charge move and makes D3 additional attacks instead of 1. So essentially, normally with shock attack, the turn you charge or get charged, you get an additional attack. This essentially means that all the time in combat they get D3 additional attack, so really, really nice. Warrior Born, at the start of the fight phase, if the Warlord is within engagement range of any enemy units, it can fight first that phase, so regardless of who's charged first and then the turn order, your Warlord always gets to fight first, which is really nice. Hunter, add 1 to advance and charge rolls made for the Warlord, and they're eligible to charge in a turn in which they advanced or fell back, so you can be super aggressive with them or jump out of combat and charge a different unit, so pretty good option. And then Aura of Majesty, add 3 to the range of the Warlord's Rites of Battle, Tactical Precision, Chapter Master and Spiritual Leader abilities to a maximum of 9 inches, and add 3 to the range of any litanies. So basically just extends all your auras, which pretty good option. And Resolve of the Bear. Each time the Warlord would lose a wound on a 6, the wound is not lost, so essentially a 6+ wound shrug. And each time an attack is made against the Warlord, your opponent cannot re-roll the wound roll and cannot re-roll the damage roll. So locks out any stratagems for re-rolls, locks out any abilities for re-rolls, essentially making your Warlord a little bit more survivable. So yeah, some really nice Warlord traits there that definitely fit the theme of the army. If you take a named character, they have some specific Warlord traits that they have to take, as we've seen in other books, very similar. So sagas is something kind of cool. They're a bit like achievements that your characters are trying to unlock, and by using the deed worthy of a saga stratagem, they can gain associated saga abilities as well. So you're trying to achieve a certain mission to lay down the history in a saga, and then if you do so, you can unlock really cool kind of aura abilities. So Beast Slayer, Deed of the Battle Slayer. An enemy monster or vehicle unit is destroyed as a result of an attack made by this model, and that can unlock Saga of the Beast Slayer. While a friendly Space Wolves core unit is within 6 inches, each time a model in that unit makes a melee attack against a monster or vehicle, add 1 to the attack's wound roll. So if you remember the Beast Slayer Warlord trait earlier, making it easier to kill those beasts, yeah, you can you can do some really cool stuff. Essentially, making your core units better by achieving those objectives. And I think there's a really nice kind of narrative turn to that as well. So yeah, really looking forward to seeing how these play out in an actual game, because there's some really fun stuff. Again, Jay's gone into quite a bit of detail on these over on the website post as well, if you want more details on the various sagas. As normal, we have relics, we have special issue war gear as well that you can give to your warlord or your characters. There are stratagems to give them additional relics as well, so some really cool stuff there. So yeah, quite like Pelt of the Beowulf. Each time a melee attack is made against the bearer, subtract 1 from the attack's hit, roll and wound roll. So you can make some quite defensive characters in this book, which yeah, is really nice to see. The Space Wolves also get their own psychic discipline, the Tempestus discipline. So we've got some cool spells here. So Living Lightning, Witchfire. Living Lightning is a warp charge of 6. If manifested, the closest enemy unit within 18 inches of and visible to the Psyker suffers D3 mortal wounds. Then roll a D6 on a 2 to 4. The closest other enemy unit suffers 1 mortal wound, and on a 5+ it suffers D3 mortal wounds. So yeah, pretty good. A bit of splash damage on nearby units, which is cool. Murderous Hurricane, which is a malediction. It's got a warp charge value of 6. If manifested, select 1 enemy unit within 18 inches of the Psyker. Until the start of the next psychic phase, if the unit is not wholly on or within a terrain feature, it cannot fire Overwatch, so you can lock down Overwatch on your targets. And in the fight phase, that unit is not eligible to fight until after all eligible Space Wolf units from your army have done so. So yeah, you can really pin down an enemy unit there and force them to fight last and not have any Overwatch. So yeah, really like that. Tempest Wrath, warp charge is 6. If manifested, select 1 enemy unit within 24 inches of the Psyker. Until the start of the next psychic phase, each time a model in the unit makes an attack, subtract 1 from the attack's hit roll. So again, lots of -1s to hit across the army here. Instincts Awoken, so it manifests on a 6. Select a friendly Space Wolves unit within 18 inches of the Psyker. Until the start of your next psychic phase, each time a model in the unit makes an attack, the Assault Doctrine is considered to be active for that attack instead of the currently active Doctrine. If the Assault Doctrine is already active, then on an unmodified wound of 6, improve the armor penetration by 1. This is cumulative with a bonus from the Assault Doctrine, so yeah, that's pretty good. I quite like that. Stormcaller goes off on a 6 if manifested until the start of your next psychic phase. While the unit is within 6 inches of this Psyker, friendly Space Wolves receive the benefits of light cover. Pretty good. And then Jaws of the World Wolf goes off on a 7. If manifested, select 1 enemy unit within 18 inches of and visible to the Psyker. Roll 1d6 for each model in the unit, adding 1 to the result if the psychic test was 9 or more. For each 6+, take a mortal wound. So nice one to thin out a big unit. We then get some Space Wolf specific missions for your match play games. So like we've seen in the other books, you can choose to take one of these for your Space Wolf army. So purge the enemy glory kills. You score 2 victory points if any character units were destroyed by a Space Wolf unit from your army. If no character units were destroyed but a character suffered 3 or more, you score 1 victory point. And you score 3 victory points if monster units were destroyed by Space Wolves. And again, if they were just wounded, you can score 1. So yeah, pretty good, especially teamed up with your sagas. Heroic Challenge. At the start of the first command phase, you must select 1 Space Wolf character from your army to issue the challenge. Your opponent must select 1 character model from their army to accept the challenge. And yeah, you score 5 victory points if the model that accepted the challenge was destroyed, the model that accepted the challenge was destroyed as a result of a melee attack, the model that accepted the challenge was destroyed as a result of a melee attack made by the model that issued the challenge. So essentially you can cause up to 15 there. It doesn't matter if your character doesn't kill theirs, but you get more points if they do. Really, really like that one. A Mighty Saga. When you select the objective, score 2 victory points at the end of each battle round for each of the following achieved by Space Wolves Warlord. An enemy monster or vehicle loses any wounds as a result of a melee attack. An enemy monster or vehicle destroyed as a result of a melee attack made by the Warlord. An enemy character was destroyed. 5 or more models were destroyed. At the start of the command phase, this warlord is within range of an objective marker, wholly within your opponent's deployment zone. So again, big tanked up the character, taking out a load of stuff, being really aggressive. Quite like that one as well. And then Warrior Pride, score 3 victory points at the end of your turn if 2 or more Space Wolf units from your army are within engagement range of enemy units or have completed a charge move this turn. Really, really easy one to do that if you just get your guys into combat. So yeah, I like that. We then get a nice chunky Crusade section. So again, Jay's gone into quite a lot of detail on this over on the website, but we get some cool Space Wolf specific agendas. Similar to the match play missions, they're all geared around doing Space Wolfy stuff, and that's something we've seen in all the kind of Crusade content. This is really geared to how your army plays, and I really like that from a narrative point of view. We get some cool requisitions as well, so we can give different kind of tails to units, which give them different abilities. There's a really nice ability that highlights the competition between the Dark Angels and the Space Wolves, where you can give Space Wolf units +1 to hit and wound rolls against Dark Angel units for 1 requisition point, which is really cool. We get some battle traits, as we have in all the other Crusade supplements. So again, we're building quite a library of different battle traits and different ways you can upgrade your forces. So obviously when the world returns to some normality and we can play some games again, really looking forward to doing a bit of a Space Wolf Crusade force and weaving a saga worthy of Lehman Russ. So yeah, really, really like this kind of stuff. You can also give deeds to your characters instead of a battle honour. So again, really cool stuff. Kind of builds on the saga and gives them different names, and you get different abilities on them. So really, really like that. Similar to the names in the Necron book, where they got different titles and different abilities about that. So yeah, really like that. We get some new Crusade relics, as you would expect, and we get a really nice name generator for creating some Space Wolfy names. So on the data sheets, we get a few rules that it calls out. So Berserk Charge. So Berserk Charge, they get an additional attack when they make a charge move. Again, that stacks with any other normal rules they've got, which is really tasty. Headstrong, if the unit does not control a Wolf Guard model, then each time the unit declares a charge, you must select the closest eligible unit as one of the targets they charge. So you're quite impulsive and want to charge into things, get the Wolf Guard there to put them back in line, and then Swift Hunters allows you to charge after advancing, and when you pile in you get to move an additional inch. So I think that's all kind of the Thunder Wolves and stuff like that. And then yeah, onto the profiles themselves. So we've seen quite a few changes on here. Logan Grimnar is really, really cool now. I think Jay's gone into quite a bit of detail again on the website, just going over the changes of these profiles in particular. So we'll just call out a couple here. But again, all the Space Wolf characters and models that we've got are in here. I know a lot of people were concerned that the Space Wolf Dreadnoughts had disappeared from the store. They are all still in this book, so I imagine they're probably just getting reboxed to be kind of relaunched alongside the book. Ragnar Blackmane's still really, really cool. If you picked up the Prophecy of the Wolf box, you've got him in there. He is also up for pre-order alongside this book today as well, and I know I'll be certainly picking one up because he's really cool. And yeah, a lot of the older characters are on here as well, so you can still do an old tactical marine armoured army if you wanted to. Essentially all the old unique Space Wolf units are in here as well, which is good to see. So yeah, add a bit of Space Wolf specific flavour to your army. We also get a new Primaris unit, the Hounds of Morkai. So these were essentially Psyker Hunters, and they look pretty good. So with the targeting of Psyker, they can ignore the Lookout rule, so they can target people, you know, nearby a unit. They can snipe out those Psyker characters, and if they do so, they get +1 to hit and +1 damage as well, which actually makes their bolt pistols, which sounds madness, but their bolt pistols then strength 4, AP -2, 2 damage. So yeah, a unit of these could put out quite a lot of hurt to a supporting Psyker character. So yeah, I really like that. They also have a rule similar to the Sisters of Silence, so you can only target them if they're the closest model, and they have like a wound shrug against psychic events as well, and they make it harder for nearby psychers to cast. Yeah, I really want to make a unit of these. I know Reavers haven't been super popular, so this is a good use for Reaver, making them into a unique Space Wolf unit. It's a bit of a shame it isn't a brand new kit. I'd have kind of liked to have seen wolf heads on these, but yeah, I believe the set's going to be a sprue of Reavers and the Space Wolf upgrade sprue to make this unit, but there's a couple of 30k units you could use for these guys as well to make them look really unique, and I'm looking forward to converting up a unit of these. Again, Wolfen are crazy good, as they always have been. Looking forward to putting together some of them, and again some of the other unique Dreadnoughts, the cool stuff like Fenrissian Wolves and Thunderwolf Cavalry are still in here. I know some people mocked the wolf heavy kind of wave of releases we had a while ago, but I quite like it. It adds to the Space Wolf vibe of the army. So yeah, good to see a lot of these old units return. Sadly, the transport can't carry any Primaris units, but that's to be expected really from what we've seen from other transports in the game. The Stormfang looks pretty tasty. I think I'm going to pick up one of those myself because that gun looks really handy with a straight 6 damage. Could really hurt some stuff. As we've seen in the other books, we get a nice little breakdown of all the weapon profiles as well, in a little glossary in the back, along with a full breakdown of all the points. We've mentioned it in our other codex reviews, but I much prefer this layout for the points. It makes it a lot easier to read them. Yeah, I think one of the problems with 8th edition was the way the points were displayed in the back, so they have definitely addressed that in these new books. And then finally we get a little quick reference there detailing all the important Space Wolf specific rules and all the sagas and everything, which is really quick for looking up during a game, so yeah, very nice to see that. So that was a quick look at Codex Supplement Space Wolves for Warhammer 40,000. Yeah, really impressed from what I've seen. It looks really fun, and I'm looking forward to putting together my own little saga myself. So yeah, stay tuned to YouTube, because today we have got the Imperial Armour Compendium and Codex Supplement Death Watch reviews going up as well, and we've got the full written reviews of all of the above on the website as well. So until next time, we will see you later.